story, but I'm going to say it. If you haven't, you've probably forgotten it, although I most certainly haven't. You were saying about God is good, and situations where without God's intervention, that's one of the reasons I like God is good. That's why we sung that lot down the mission. About 13 years old ago, we went to Spain with my grandson. He was about 7, and Carol and me got on the plane. Eventually, the plane took off. It reached altitude and goes up like that. Carol was going, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" I said, "Don't worry about it, it's nothing to worry about." Well, it was. Next thing we knew, the breathing apparatus fell down, came down, didn't work. Next thing, the plane lost altitude to unpressurised. Eventually, we landed, so there was a potential crash. Apparently, there was something burning out in the aeroplane. So when we got through that, we eventually had to, the next day, got another plane. My grandson said as it takes off, "When's the thing's going to drop down? Because that's really brilliant, Grandad." I said, we got to Spain, we went in the sea. My daughter took my grandson in the sea with armbands. They were out quite a way. My daughter's waving, I'm waving. She wasn't waving, she was drowning. My grandson was drowning. He'd lost his armband, he was frantic to get the armband. I swam out to get him. I was drowning because I couldn't cope. 2 people who we never ever saw again when we got back suddenly appeared, 2 men, and brought my daughter back, brought my grandson back. Then one of them came back to get me because I couldn't swim against the undercurrent. Never found them, never saw them on the beach. Truly, they got us to the beach and then they just disappeared.
Like the angels.
No, I'm going to say that they weren't there. I'm going to show you that. Same holiday, we were staying in the ground floor house, and I thought the daughter was living in Spain at that moment, and she brought a boyfriend who's now her husband. And I thought he'd locked the doors. I thought he'd locked the doors. He thought I'd locked the doors. He hadn't locked the doors. There was a break-in. They stole the keys, stole the money. The main thing was the keys because it was to the safe. And all the passports and that was in there. Came out and I'm just frantic. And that's what I'm going to do. I can't do anything about this. And then I saw a bunch of coloured keys in the undergrowth. That is a miracle because they must have took it. The idea of pinching the car that we hired, didn't, picked up the keys. Eventually got to the police station about at the end of the holiday, and my daughter went because she speaks Spanish and talking to the coppers. And they said, "Well, you're really lucky." What? Really lucky? Come on. Well, there's been a spate of this, and they don't bother with just taking the money. They slit in people's throats.
Oh my.
And they didn't use. And I said, "Oh." The grandson then piped up, "This is a brilliant day, Dad, Grandad, because look at all the guns and the motorbikes and the police, and it was the best holiday he'd ever had." So, that's not an exaggeration, it really is the truth. So then we had to go and get the money from the daughter because they'd stolen all the money that I'd given her, as you do with kids and that. So when you say God is good, God is good. We nearly crashed, the family nearly drowned, and we nearly had our throats slit. God is good. Don't go on holiday with me.
Those person that you did start, did they come?
Never saw them again.
No, truly, it's not a lie or an exaggeration.
Oh, they did come.
Two young lads,
Oh, I see.
one rescued the daughter, one rescued my grandson, brought them back to the beach, and then came back to get me, because I'd swum out the same thing, but I couldn't cope, I wasn't a strong enough swimmer. And then when they got back, I was on the beach, I looked up to thank them.
That's why we not brought them here for. The rest
They
of
weren't
them.
on the beach, I can assure you. Carol looked for them.
We not brought them. They disappeared off.
Angels.
Well,
Yeah.
and that is a totally true story. It's not exaggerated, and it's not. I'm not a hairy fairy kind of character, I can assure you.
Things happen.
Anyway, benediction. Psalm 9. The Lord reigns forever. He has established his throne for judgment. He will judge the world in righteousness. He will govern the people with justice. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name will trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. May God add his blessing to us. Shall we come to the Lord with the Lord's Prayer, as Jesus taught us to say? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you all. Dean has asked me to say that we would like you to take the fruit. So anybody that would like to get a bag, if you haven't got a bag, get a bag from Deanie, and please help yourself, because we can't distribute that.